Don't you just hate it when you just buy a new razor and then before you can even fucking use it, you have to throw it in the trash can? Today, I'm going to be talking about that Gillette ad, that ridiculous Gillette ad, but specifically 4 ways in which that Gillette ad promotes the victim mindset. You guys may have seen the longer video I did basically dissecting the Gillette ad. In that video, I went over the ad itself. I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I want to talk about 4 specific things in the ad that really points to the victim mindset. And I want to talk about what the victim mindset is. Life is unfair. I've been dealt an unfair hand. You know, this is just reality and I'm just dealing with it, and this is the fact. If you do have the victim mindset in life, you're going to find that things are more difficult for you and you're going to find yourself being victimized more often. The very first example here, and this was used a few times throughout the ad, was an example of bullying. Don't get me wrong here. There is nothing great, there's nothing good about being a bully and bullying people, okay? That's not a, quote, masculine trait. It is not something that we should promote. But here's the problem that Gillette missed out on, is what they did with that was they basically showed the victim side of bullying. They did not show the kid or the person being bullied stand up to the bully, right? And there were a couple of instances, a couple of things that you could have interpreted as bullying in this ad, and instead of showing how a positive masculine trait of standing up to a bully, of being courageous, even despite overwhelming odds, these are the kind of traits that we need to have as men. They showed an adult stepping in and saving the child, right? And again, I'm not saying that you should stand by and watch kids get beaten to a pulp by other kids, but that's not what was going on in that commercial. And even so, the message that really needs to be sent is how to stand up for yourself. And the reason why is because that is an example of the victim mindset, right? Of believing that someone will step in and someone will save you and someone will help you, because that's not how life and reality works. We can't always count on an adult coming in and saving us, or someone coming in and saving us from a bully. Life is full of bullies. We can give the message to society and tell men and women, honestly women are very big bullies as well, but we can tell them to stop. But that doesn't matter, because the people that are going to be bullies are not going to listen to that message. They're going to bully anyway. The cure for this problem is not to embrace the victim mindset, because that's not a solution. Okay, that makes you feel good to give this message of stop bullying. Okay, but the people who are bullying, I guarantee you, are not listening to that message. Instead, the message needs to go to the person being bullied and to all of us to not be a victim, to not have the victim mindset, to not allow yourself to be a victim, not to see yourself that way. Instead, to fight, to stand up for yourself and defend yourself whether you win or lose. The question is not whether or not you can stand up to a bully and win. It's whether or not you do it or not. And sometimes it takes the most courage to stand up in a situation where you know that you're going to lose, but you're standing up because it's that underlying principle of not having the victim mindset, of instead having the Bulldog mindset that's more important. I was bullied as a kid, okay, but I did learn to stand up for myself, okay? I can remember the first time that I did stand up to a bully. I ended up winning the fight, okay? And that changed my perspective and changed my life. And actually, what that also did was it made me realize about some of the bullying type of things that I was doing and to stop doing it. As usually bullies are the type of people that feel insecurity. They feel weak themselves, and it's a way to feel more powerful. The way to solve that problem is to teach young boys and men and anyone really to have self-empowerment, to have self-efficacy, okay? To trust in themselves, to believe that they are powerful, okay? And they can do that by showing courage, by being able to step up, by not having the victim mindset, by believing that they are in control of their world and their fate, and they're not just a victim in this life and in this world. And when they feel empowered in that way, they don't need to find power by taking it from other people. The second example in this ad was example where the man, an executive, probably at the board table, was, quote, mansplaining, and puts his hand on the shoulder of the woman there and says, I think what she's trying to say. Now, this is one of those things that's a pretty dickheadish thing to do. pretty much, right? I mean, that is, okay? Now, is it a huge big deal? No. I mean, could it happen to anyone, a man or a woman? Sure. Bosses are dicks all the time. I've had it happen to me plenty of times. The problem is that you look at her face, okay, and you see this downtrodden, beaten down kind of look on her face. That's not good. If someone disparages you, treats you, like belittles you, and your reaction is to be like, oh, woe is me, to basically feel like it's out of your control and you're just a victim, it doesn't help you, okay? Instead, they should have showed her standing up and being like, what the fuck? and telling them off, right? Or like shaking it off and being like, psh, whatever, all right, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's multiple reactions that you could take to this, right? She could have done a number of things, right? She's not a victim in this case, okay? She's chosen to make herself a victim, and Gillette has shown her as a victim, has shown her as weak, which I don't support. He can like do all of his whatever shit and put his hand on my shoulder or whatever and say what he's really trying to say. It doesn't matter. It doesn't faze me because I don't care. I just do my job. Doesn't fucking care. Or you could say, you know what? Don't fucking touch me, first of all, right? You can get up and say, first of all, don't fucking touch me. And second of all, I said precisely what I meant. I don't need you to translate. If someone has a question about what I said, I can answer it and explain it. Thank you very much. Why don't you sit down? You could do that. That's totally fine. Maybe you'll lose your job if he's your boss, okay? Or maybe you just had enough and you're just like, you know what? That's it. You know, first of all, don't ever fucking touch me again. And I'm done. I'm done with this shit. That's why in that situation you're not a victim. You can choose to make yourself a victim, and you can develop the victim mindset when you see that and you say, oh, poor girl, poor person, they had no choice, this bad thing happened to them. Anytime you're in a situation, I want you to remember, you're not a victim, okay? You can change it, you can accept it, or you can leave it. That's it. There's no whining, there's no complaining, there's no being a victim. Number 3, this one's gonna have a little bit of controversy, so I'm gonna tell you the Terry Crews part, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, okay? I like Terry Crews. I think he's an awesome guy. I love his work. I love his commercials, is it Gillette commercials? I don't know. He does commercials with some kind of deodorant or something, and it's pretty funny, okay? He's fucking jacked, he's ripped, got a nice physique, pretty funny guy, good actor. But I don't agree with him with the whole Me Too bullshit, okay? The whole Me Too movement, okay? Regardless if there are correct accusations in there and bad behavior that did happen, I'm not disregarding that, but the whole Me Too movement and people jumping on the bandwagon of it is a complete victim mindset thing. He testifies before Congress or whatever and puts himself as a victim. I can't believe this man sexually assaulted me. He won't name names. And it happened, 20 years ago or whatever it was. I don't remember how long. That, to me, is a very cowardly thing to do. Why? Because it embraces the victim mindset. Because guess what? Again, I'll put myself in that scenario. If I'm Terry Crews, and I will tell you, okay, because some of you are going to say, well, you've never been in that situation. I've been in all the situations that have been in that commercial. Believe me, okay? Including being catcalled, including being grabbed, okay? So in the Terry Crews, I have had my ass grabbed plenty of times by girls, by gay guys, okay? I don't care. Doesn't offend me. I don't care. Big deal. It's just juvenile behavior. Not a big deal. I'm not saying you have to think like me, okay? If you're Terry Crews and some guy grabbing your ass or in that situation, right, in that position of power, does that, the cowardly thing to do is to say nothing and be a victim. And then to 20 years later or whatever, say, oh, we're going to call this out. That is bullshit and cowardly, okay? In my opinion. The courageous thing to do is to stand up right in that moment and make the choice. If you choose a coward way and you choose a victim mindset, maybe you'll get ahead in your career, okay? But the shit is gonna haunt you 20 years later until you can't get it off your chest until you go and testify before Congress and cry, okay? Again, I don't mean to knock the guy, but I don't like this behavior, and I think that it is not smart. He could also just report it right then, and I guess he kind of tried to, but not really, right? I mean, it's an actual crime. He could report it to the police, right? He could take it to the level where it needs to stop, okay? He can confront people directly in the open when they continue that behavior so that they're embarrassed and they realize that behavior needs to stop, or he can leave the situation. You can change it, you can accept it, you can leave it, okay? That's it. Those are your 3 choices. Your choice is not to say nothing about it, be butthurt, and then whine, 15, 20 years later. 4th one here, okay? The 4th one is under the the kind of perceived sexual harassment. So there's two examples in this ad. Okay, the one example is that, you know, whatever douchebag at the party tells the girl, oh, why don't you smile more or whatever. Not a big deal. I mean, it's kind of a douchebag type of thing, like the way that he said it and everything. Like you can't really say that. I mean, maybe he's just unsocially calibrated. Maybe he's on the autism spectrum. That's the other thing, is like, this guy could clearly be on the autism spectrum. Like, let that girl handle her shit. Okay, she's not a little delicate flower. She doesn't need some white knight hero to step in and save her from some guy's words. I mean, really? Like, we really think that women are so weak, and we're really going to give them so much of the victim mindset, okay, that we're gonna do that? If the guy stalked her, followed her around the pool party, kept on making comments to her, I will fucking throw his fat ass in the pool, okay? I will do it. I will step up and do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna mind my own business and let her deal with her own shit. The point where it becomes excessive, right? Any guy, any red-blooded American male, okay, not just Americans, but I'm just using that as an example, would step in. You don't need to be white knighting and treating these girls like victims over some stupid, like, ridiculous comment. The second example as well, right, where the guy, he sees a hot girl walking by, right, she's dressed provocatively. Not that that should matter, but it does to some degree. When the guy steps in to save the girl that isn't even in trouble, the guy hasn't even said a fucking word to her. Let's see what he does. If he's gonna run up to her and grab her and try to rape her on the street, okay, then Mr. Hero, go rush in and save the fucking day. I will help you. Wait, he hasn't done anything. This is like Minority Report. He hasn't done anything. And what if he just says, hey, what's up, baby? Or what if he even catcalls her? And then she says, fuck off. That's it. Again, victim mindset says that you need someone to step in, an adult to save you from bullying, a guy to save you from unwanted sexual advance, a guy to save you from an executive boardroom, from some guy mansplaining you. We need to have a stronger mindset and not treat ourselves as victim. Right? Again, I keep on emphasizing those three things you can do, because I want you to understand that when you're in that situation, you can always accept it, okay? You can leave it, or you can change it. That's it. And in those two scenarios, same thing, right? Those girls in those situations, some guy says some bullshit comment, she can be like, whatever, and fucking ignore him. That's probably the best option in most cases, because it's not really that big of a fucking deal. Am I gonna really get really butthurt about a fucking commercial? I don't care, but it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson that's in here, because there's a reason why viscerally, so many men reacted poorly to this. And it's not just about saying that men are jerks and assholes, okay? It's about embracing this victim mindset. A lot of you guys that watch this, you didn't really understand what was making you upset, why you felt there was something wrong about it, and this is one of the reasons. This is really the rule of thumb. If you're wondering if you have a victim mindset, it comes down to this. Do you blame anything besides yourself for your circumstances? That's number one. And do you give the responsibility over your life and your circumstances to anyone or anything beside yourself? That's it. It's as simple as that. If either of those are true, that you do that, then you do have the victim mindset. Now, I understand that there are things out of your control. I understand being dealt a bad hand. Okay, I understand life circumstances, and that people are bullies and people are assholes, and people misuse power, and they sexually harass, and they do all kinds of things. That there are perpetrators that commit crimes against you and things against you. You cannot prevent that from happening. That is a function of the other person. What you can control and what you can prevent is your own thinking about the situation, how you interpret it. And you can always choose to interpret any kind of event that happens to you as poor me and I'm the victim. Or you can choose to have an empowered viewpoint in which you say, what am I going to do about it? What can I do about it? What am I going to do about it? Not focusing on whether it was right or whether it was wrong, whether it was fair, whether justice was dealt or not, because that doesn't matter. It would be nice if we could get society to play nice, to do all the right things and good things. Now, I probably don't agree with some of the social justice warriors on what are the right and nice things. Most of those things we kind of agree on, okay? We just disagree on the ability for it to happen and where the burden lies. It doesn't matter if the world is a fucked up place. It is. It doesn't matter how bad people behave. For you, the individual dealing with life, you cannot change the world. You cannot change people. You can make a difference in people's lives, and you can impact the people that you can positively. But you can't lecture, and you can't impose your morals or virtual signal the world and expect it to change for you. In your life, in your situations, in your day-to-day, you have to decide to have the bulldog mindset, not the victim mindset, if you want to be successful. Because if you have the victim mindset and if you're waiting for someone to step in and save you, if you're waiting for society to change, it's not going to happen. And most of the time you're going to be disappointed and you're going to think it's not your fault, but it is your fault because you didn't take action. Because you should expect that people are going to be assholes, they're going to be bad, they're going to do wrong things, that the world is not going to go your way, and that circumstances are going to work against you. And you got to be prepared to deal with that and be prepared to accept the responsibility of your life. It does no good to blame. It does no good to say it's unfair. It does no good to do any of these things that are the victim mindset. I'm not disagreeing that you may have been dealt an unfair hand. I'm not disagreeing that someone may have wronged you or done bad to you. But it makes no sense. It does you no good to dwell on it, to seek revenge or justice for that thing. Instead, it makes sense to decide at this moment in time, what is the action that I can take that will best help me in this situation? I'll talk to you next time. Take care.